Okay guys, we are starting this video with a question. I am on my way to one of my favorite, honestly, places. You guys are two questions. The dentist. I love the dentist. Am I alone in that? I think I call it the teeth spa. My second question is, it is like 8:04 right now. My appointment was at 8. So I called ahead letting them know that I was running a little late, and the receptionist lady was kind of like caught by surprise. I just felt like that was the courteous thing to do. Is that weird? Like if you're only going to be a little bit late, I just feel like that's like the courteous thing to do. Okay, I have my bite splint. We're running a million miles an hour today, but that's okay. That's how the day's going to go. Let's see how it unfolds. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it. Literally took all of 5 minutes. Sexy, right? Yeah, okay. All 5 minutes. Let's go home. I got this bite splint. That's what it's called. Bite splint. A lot of people ask me like where I get it. I got it because I grind my teeth at night, which is something that actually started during the pandemic. Multiple things, like the pandemic started my business, life got stressful, right? And stress is going to be a common theme today, but that's where I got my bite splint. I got it from the dentist. I have a lot of people ask me about it. Just ask your dentist if you grind your teeth, because I haven't been able to wear it for a while. She's like, I can tell you grind your teeth a lot because there's like wear on the bite splint. It is great. It also kind of like serves as a retainer. I have had braces twice, so I'm like, I don't want that to go back. So anywho, okay, we're gonna get on with our Tuesday today, and I'll catch up with you later. We have another appointment to get to. Alrighty, friends, appointment 2 in the books, therapy. Okay, so like I said, I feel like stress has been our common theme of the day. Stress management really has been the common theme of the day today. And I was talking about this in therapy as well as with a friend this morning, I can't remember. I feel like during the holiday season, stress can be kind of like spread wide versus like it necessarily being one thing. Like right now for me, and I was talking to my friend about this, it's just kind of like a lot of little things building up, which personally I feel like is more difficult to handle, because like I was saying this to my husband the other day. I was like, I wish it was one thing that I could tackle, but it's like kind of these like little things that just kind of like chip away at it. So, awareness of that is key, but also for me, stress management is really the name of the game this week. So I'll show you some of the things that I'm going to be doing to do that. So I think it's also like I've had multiple conversations in the past week that a lot of people feel this way. So if you feel that way, and it's also, we talk about food a lot here on this channel, the stress, it can play into that for a few reasons, because whether you eat emotionally, you eat to handle the stress. I've definitely felt it on stressful days. I'll procrastinate. I don't want to do the work tasks, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe I'll just go out for a snack. Or, the cookie trays, you're emotional, and then we have those. Or maybe you use food as a way to restrict and to feel in control of something when the holiday seasons are all kinds of wonky with your schedule, busyness, stress. So let's talk about self-care and how to manage that. Almost spilled all of my tea all over my painting. It is the most wonderful time of the day, friends. I literally look forward to this evening routine all day long. This is, like I said, I look forward to this every night. I got a mug of tea. This is peppermint bark. I found it at Walmart. It's very good. I like to put a little splash of like chocolate coffee syrup, like what you'd use for that, in there. Delicious in here. But I'm really proud of myself with this hobby, you guys. So I have done a lot of paint by numbers. Let me show you the one I just finished. Sorry, the lighting in here is horrible. Look, this is the one I did most recently. I'm obsessed with paint by numbers, you guys. And like I said, this is my longest standing hobby, and I'm really proud of myself for it. It really has become a habit for me to unwind at the end of the day. And I have my mug of tea. I find this so comforting. I am gonna put reality TV on. I'm, like I said, watching Southern Charm. And for me, I don't have to think. I literally just follow the numbers, and it's just a nice way to unwind and not have to kind of like shut your brain off.
after thinking, making decisions, like you get to the end of the day and you have such decision fatigue. So I really like this. And this is also like when I let my dinner digest and then I decide, do I want dessert? Do I not? Depends on the day. If you do struggle with nighttime eating or feeling out of control, feeling guilty, feeling drawn to the pint of ice cream in the freezer or the cookies in the cabinet, whatever it is, I would recommend having some sort of like an evening unwinding routine, because a lot of times there's a few reasons why that can happen, why we get drawn to those foods, but sometimes it's not even about the food. It's about needing comfort, right? Or needing, just for me, like being able to unwind, turn my brain off. Sometimes we can get so used to turning to food for those things, which it can do. And having food as a pick-me-up or part of unwinding at the end of the day is not bad or wrong. But when it's our only coping mechanism or it doesn't feel good, we eat past fullness, that's where we might want to think like, is it really helping us, or is it just adding to our bad day or stress by then giving us a stomach ache along with it? It's okay for, like I said, it to be an escape, but we don't want it to be our only coping mechanism. So I am going to get to painting as my stress reliever for the day. And I do this until I have my phone. Where is my phone? Let me grab it. Gotta get ready to put Southern Charm on. This alarm goes off at 9:50. Well, not an alarm. I have a notification on my phone that goes off at 9:15. And that's my end of day reflection that I have in my app, The Society. I schedule it for 9:15. That's my cue to go upstairs, get ready for bed. And then I get in bed, do my end of day reflection, and then read and go to bed. I do think that doing an end of day reflection is helpful for a variety of reasons. It can help you become aware of what feels good, what doesn't. It can also, what I find super helpful is kind of like, it helps me process and kind of like let go of the day and then also do a look ahead of tomorrow. Honestly, it helps me sleep easier because my brain feels like it's kind of like closed the chapter of the day. I've processed it. If there's anything that's still I'm thinking about or anything, I just dump it into my end of day reflection in the app. And it's also really helpful if you are on a non-diet journey and you're focusing on learning to listen to your body. It's a really great way to assess, okay, what today felt good, what didn't, because the reality is you don't need to log or journal every single thing throughout the day. The biggest thing that you can do is to tune into what felt good today, what did it mentally, physically, emotionally, because guess what? All of those things are tied together. We can't just silo food and just think about food. So that's what we're gonna do right now. I will also link my app if you do not have it downloaded yet and you want to do the end of day reflection. You can do the end of day reflection just by thinking about it, writing a note on your phone, doing a physical journal. But I'll put a little screenshot here. God, this light is horrendous. But I'll put a screenshot here of what it looks like if you want to see. It's guided. It'll tell you exactly what to do. So yeah, that's what we are going to get to right now. I feel like there's something else I wanted to tell you guys. I can't remember. Also, how I developed this actually becoming a habit, pro tip, is doing reflections. Again, I do this in the app, but really assessing like, the reason I do feel like I crave this at night is not because like, oh, it's a way to relax. I know that's good for me. I genuinely crave doing these activities because I understand, wow, that really helped my brain. And when I was kind of just starting this, I did a lot of reflections in the app. Anytime, this goes for any habit that you feel like feels good, reflect on, literally write down like this felt good and why. That is going to train your brain to realize this is a helpful thing for me. That's going to really wire it for you to want to do that more. So if you're thinking about like, I know these things help me manage my stress, I know I should do them. Don't should yourself, first of all, right? But jot that down. That is literally going to rewire your brain and make yourself learn, oh, these things are helpful, so you'll want to do them more automatically. Okay. I feel like I've been talking a lot and I want to get painting. So I'm going to do that and we'll see if I want anything later for dessert. This is my little processing time, but let's get going. Happy Thursday, friends. I was actually this morning editing this video and I was thinking about something. So for me, last night I filmed the part about paint by numbers.
And I think when you're thinking about like there's different types of self-care. This could be a whole freaking video in itself, but when I was talking about like it's nice to be able to turn my brain off, I think it's important to also note that like that might not be what you need. And that hasn't always been what I need. Maybe you're someone who at the end of the day is craving some sort of like stimulation, right? And maybe like just following instructions is not going to be what's most helpful for you. So I think that in order to find like what's going to help you manage your emotions and give you what you need the most is to think about, what do I need? Because even when we think about that in terms of food, so if someone is like, yes, it is very common for people to go to food as a sort of comfort, but they could also be going to for stimulation or for joy. Kind of think about like, what is it throughout the day that I feel like this cup is not being filled? And then finding a way to comfort that. Like I said, that might be the opposite of kind of the like turn off brain, zone out kind of thing that I'm needing. Our light, we really need to fix our lights down here. But yeah, so I was thinking about that. I was like, I just feel like we need to make that distinction, and it's going to look different forever. And like I said, we could get in a whole conversation about, hang on, the different types of rest, and maybe we will eventually, but I'll leave that there. We're working from the couch today. I'm waiting for my dog to come. He loves when I work from the couch, which I don't do too much anymore, but in terms of stress management and self-care for the week, I'm going to do it because I actually have a pretty light workload today. So we're going to get to that, but just wanted to give you that little tidbit. All right, friends, we are going to finish out the workday here. I just had a delicious sandwich. Have you guys ever heard of the sandwich? It's called a Rachel sandwich. It's like a twist on a Reuben, but it has coleslaw, turkey, Thousand Island dressing, and Swiss cheese. You toast it up. Highly recommend. Also, please let me know I feel like I am entering a sandwich phase. You know how sometimes like you go in phases with food? Because I was like, sandwiches are just hitting the spot right now. And I feel like that's kind of like my usual trajectory with things. Like we're getting into the winter months here. I don't really want salads as much anymore. I'm more so like a warm sandwich or just like something comforting like that. So any other sandwich recommendations you have? I'm looking for like something unique, like chicken salad, egg salad, those things, but like something like a Rachel sandwich where it's like, ooh, that's new. I want to try something new. So let me know in the comments your sandwich recommendations. Okay, so right now I was potentially going to be at a holiday event, and I did some self-care, some boundary settings, and I actually said no to it. So I do think that one thing when we're thinking about stress management and self-care, especially during the holiday season when there's so many things to do and there's so much FOMO, saying no to things is okay. And sometimes that's a form of self-care. It's not always going to be these buzzwordy things where it's like self-care is all about, bubble baths or painting by numbers, right? Sometimes it's the simple act of setting boundaries. And here's how I came to this conclusion. I had said I could go to this holiday event, which I did genuinely want to go to, and it would work between these hours during the day. Now, that didn't work for the person that I was planning on going with, and they're like, oh, I can do later. And I was like, could I make that work? Yes, potentially. But here's kind of my viewpoint of, I don't want to say criteria, but like how I decide if like flexing schedule to something that you want to do is, something that's a good idea, or if it's something that isn't. I ask myself, will there be more stress added if I go to this event versus like what I'm gonna gain from it? And does that make sense, you guys? Like, it was gonna cause me shifting around my schedule. Yes, the event was gonna be fun, but the added stress of getting to that event and making it happen was gonna outweigh the actual enjoyment that I was gonna get from the event. So I said no. And I think that's an important thing to remember, as there's always so many freaking holiday things going on. It's okay to say no, and you don't have an obligation. Like, you are doing these things, it's your life, right? You have permission to say no. Did that make sense? But I just think that, like, also boundary setting can be helpful during the season. And an act of self-care. It's not as sexy of a self-care item, but I think it's honestly foundational. Speaking of foundational, when we talk about like when we talk about stress management and self-care, this it shouldn't be viewed as a luxury. It should be viewed as foundational, because at our core, it's about regulating yourself and your body and all of the honestly biological mechanisms, our stress management, our hormones, our ability for our bodies to function. That's really what self-care is, right? Physically, mentally, all of those things. And I don't think it should be viewed as like such a buzzwordy, almost kind of like bastardized thing. And it's truly, truly essential too. I know a lot of people here follow me and watch this channel because they are working on developing a healthy relationship with food and learning to not diet and eat with no food rules. This stress management, this emotional management is foundational, because everything that we do, our body's functioning, our mental health, our well-being, it all plays a role in our ability to listen to our body's hunger and fullness cues. It plays a role in our hunger and fullness cues and our ability to make the choices that we know are going to make us feel good. And that's why really I built into my app is having different journal entries for food, movement, and self-care, and we reflect on sleep and we reflect on emotions, because we can't silo those things, right? Because if you're struggling with, let's say, emotional eating, okay, well, maybe it's a busy time of the holiday season and we need to keep an eye on that. And that's causing it, not the food. It has nothing to do with food. It's not your lack of willpower. It's actually these other things. And when we can start to tackle those, that's when it kind of makes the most impact on the thing that you think is the issue, i.e. the food, okay? All right, so there was a couple other things that I wanted to touch on here in this video in terms of self-care. And then I do want to show you, in my last video, I told you I was going to start a house project. I did, and I need your opinion on wallpaper. So let me get through these couple things, and I'll take you upstairs and I'll get your input on wallpaper. Okay, so let me straighten it out here. A couple other important things in terms of stress management during the holiday season. Like I said, boundary setting with events, saying no. Other thing that's helpful is setting boundary time limits. I actually did this with the event that I was going to go to today. I know that like for certain situations, like I have a cap at a certain amount of time. So if there's events where you're like, I want to go to that, but like I don't want it to drag on, or I have a certain fuse with certain people, set time limits for yourself. Give yourself an out. I think that can be really helpful if you're like, well, I don't want to like either cut this person out or not go to this event. Setting those boundaries in terms of time can be really helpful. Boundaries for amounts of activities that you'll do in a weekend or a day can be really helpful. Having those like thinking through those situations beforehand can help you manage them versus like, oh my gosh, I have all these events, like typically my limit is XYZ events in a weekend. That knowing that information can be really helpful. Getting rid of activities that you don't want to do. Guess what? You don't have to send Christmas cards. You don't have to make a big treat tray and send it to the neighbors because you think that's what the perfect neighbor does. Telling that to myself right now. You don't have to do those things. If it causes you more stress than the joy of actually doing them, don't do them. Sometimes the holidays are such a performative time, and we need to remember that for ourselves. Which leads me to another thing. Set boundaries with social media. I'm rapid firing these at you right now, but this is also something I have been doing this week, is that I know when my stress and anxiety can be heightened, a lot of times it can be from spending extra time on social media. And I really noticed that in myself over the past week. I was like, I'm doing a lot of scrolling and I'm feeling like crap about myself. So setting those boundaries can be super helpful with social media. One tip that I have, where is my phone? It's right here. I'm not going to be someone who's going to delete social media. I'm just not. It's literally my job. But one thing that I will do is if I notice I'm scrolling
unnecessarily and obsessively, what I'll do is I will move the app on my phone. So you don't have to delete it, but just moving where it lives, you'll be shocked at how often your thumb goes to that app. And it just creates like a barrier and a moment for you to pause and be like, do I actually want to go to this app right now? I just think that's a really good tip if you're someone like me who's like, I don't want to delete social media, but I also need to set some boundaries with it. There's also like timers you can do, but I don't really use any of those. If you do have a timer that you like social media limit boundary thing, let me know in the comments. Share with the class. Okay, I think that was honestly all I wanted to talk about for this video. Hopefully by the next one, I won't still be stuffy. I feel like we're on the tail end of this sickness, but like I said, I do want to, before we wrap this up, show you what I'm doing in our hallway and then get your opinion on wallpaper. I was hoping that I could actually like physically show you the wallpaper that I'm planning on using in this video, but because we got hit with a snowstorm, all the deliveries are delayed. So I will show you what I've done so far, and then I'll just post like screenshots on this, and we can do a little vote in the comments, but let me go show you. Okay guys, it looks bad right now, but I painted all of the trim black. It goes, and also the windows here. So this is what we've got. So my plan is this wall over here is gonna be black, and then this side is gonna be wallpaper, and the wallpaper is going to be pretty much most of it besides this, like I said, is gonna be black. It's hard to explain, but I'm going to put a screenshot up here. Oh gosh, I just ran into the wall. Up here of the different wallpaper. So I ordered 3. Let me know in the comments which one you like best. Like I said, it's gonna go here. It's gonna really go all of the entryway. The only black accent wall is gonna be this one, and then up that little landing here. So we're going bold. If you are someone who doesn't like bold, you probably won't like any of these, but I'll put them up here again. Let me know your thoughts on which one you like. All right, friends, I hope this video was helpful and just giving you a few reminders about stress and emotions during the holiday season. As always, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, the little bell to be notified every time a new video is uploaded. Thanks for being here, guys. And with that, I will see you in the next video. I think the next one we're gonna talk about, we're getting our Christmas tree this weekend and we're gonna do some baking. So I think we're gonna talk about kind of like what to do with like all of the holiday treats in the house, what to do if you feel like you eat too many of them. Let me know your thoughts on that. So that's what I think we've got in mind for the next one, but okay, I'm gonna go finish out the day, edit this video, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later. Okay, one more quick recommendation that I have for you guys. I love these Artie bars. So I just had some of this peanut butter one. It's a like giant millionaire bars. These are a really great holiday gift. Like I said, this is the peanut butter one. There's tons of different flavors, but I would highly recommend these if you're like, I don't know what to get someone. I love like food consumable gifts. So just a random little tidbit there. These are really, really good.
Kisses in the morning light.